Again, what is the problem with the southeastern politicians? All of a sudden, Kenneth Okonkwo is telling us that it is only a northern candidate that can kick out a southern presidency. That this was the game that was played in 2014, that Buhari kicked out Jonathan, that today it has to be an Atiku that will kick out Tinubu, not an Obi. To my surprise, because I am sincerely shocked, I'm shocked to my bone marrows now. Kenneth Okonkwo said this. Let's listen to it together.
It is a very easy thing if people will yield to strategy and not sentiment. Give Bola Tinubu his own style, his own strategy, and he's back to Bodilon. What did Bola Tinubu do in 2015? He went to the north, picked a man that he knows that all the northerners are in support. As at that time, Bola Tinubu wanted to be president.
Welcome back. I mean, what could be the amount of money that has been paid to Kenneth Okonkwo to sell out? Because for me now, Kenneth Okonkwo is a total sellout to two things. One, to the southern presidency, and two, which is the most important thing, to the Igbo presidency. What is the matter with all? Are we supposed to, I mean, is Kenneth Okonkwo, was he a mole? Was Kenneth Okonkwo, was he a mole? Was he working for Tinubu as a 2022 or Atiku? Because this was the man who sat down in the court for almost 2 weeks that presidential petition was going on. Kenneth Okonkwo on a daily basis was even part of the what's it called? The legal personnel that were hired by Peter Obi to defend his election petition. And within a space of 24 months, Kenneth Okonkwo is now a different person entirely. This is the issue. These men who believe that they need to pander to the sentiment of the North for them to rise in the South are the problems why these Fulani oligarchs have always stayed above us politically. While we can say that the South control the economy, why do we have leaders who are cowards, who are the very minutest thing of threat? You see their tail between their two legs and then they start dancing to the tune of the Fulani oligarchs. I have never been so embarrassed as a Southerner. I listened to the interview of Kenneth Okonkwo and then I asked him, what did this man smoke? Like, what did he smoke? Oh, Atiku will come in and kick out a southern governor when it is not even the turn of the North. And the funny thing is, Okonkwo is not alone. There are so many of them out there who will start parroting this nonsense in the South. We have always said that, you see, give us our region. Give us, let us be on our own. I know if Southeast was on their own and Okonkwo says something like this, he wouldn't have a chance to run to Abuja. They will be able to bundle him, take him to the market square and deal with him as they do in the Igbo land. Because what is this? What sort of embarrassment is this? What kind of crack is he smoking? Like, what kind of crack? This is a man who we expected to come out to be saying that Obi or nothing. This was the man who came out to destroy Tinubu, destroy Atiku just in less than 24 months. You know, these are men that lack principles. These are the people that will come out and tell you that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is a terrorist. But look at their own ways of, look their own character, look at their own principles. Which one is akin to a terrorist? In fact, sometimes I would say a terrorist is better than these politicians. Because sometimes, or most times, a terrorist has conviction. You know? He would rather not just have what we call change of character overnight. No. He has a conviction. He is ready to die for it. But these ones are double-mouthed. They're just double-faced. In the morning, they are with Peter Obi. At night, they are with Atiku. In the afternoon, they are with Tinubu. And you think they are not worse off than terrorists. For God's sake. I will play you a longer version of that video. But most of you might have watched it. But I'll play it. Because this, for me, at this stage, is troubling. A Kenneth Okonkwo, like a Kenneth Okonkwo, who saw himself as one of the closest confidant of Peter Obi. And this is why I've told Peter Obi, you have to be very, very careful. You now went into the coalition. For some of you who must have been paying attention to patterns, you must have seen that coalition has dwindled the potency of Peter Obi presidency. I'm telling you. Because now the APC are using some form of media language. That after all, Peter Obi is a criminal. Why did he have to go into coalition with Atiku that everybody has come to terms and agreed that he's a criminal? That in fact, Atiku does not even argue with that he is a criminal. That what form of desperation? Right? That after all, Obi is an unprincipled man, because if in 2022 he can tell us that he has left the structures of criminality to birth a new Nigeria, and in 2025 he has gone back in a space of 2 years, that he lacks principle to change the country, that the South must recover. You can see the mistake Obi made. I hope he corrects it on time. But the one way pay me pass now, this Kenneth Okonkwo matter. It is crazy to me. It is disturbing to me. The same thing was what Soludo did in 2022. Soludo, unprovoked, wrote an epistle to destroy the person of Obi. He was saying that Obi is not fit to be a president of Nigeria, that Obi is an IPOB support. That is a governor, a sitting governor of Soludo. Teaching was that Obi didn't do anything as an Anambra state governor, that Obi would be a waste of time, Obi is not courageous, that Obi is a coward, that Obi would not. I mean, you see, I've always said it, that in the South, it is because we have too many internal saboteurs. We have it in the Southwest, we have it in the Southeast, we have it in the South. Oh, have you not seen Asari Dokubo now crying? Asari Dokubo is not crying that he will not align with the South again. He will not align with the Yorubas. They are betrayers. That he would rather go to the Fulanis and go and Oga, go. Why you the announcer? Go. After all, you all are all sabos and exploiters. What we have today in the South as leaders are people that we all need to wipe them out. We need to wipe them out from that political arena. When I mean we need to wipe them out, I know you get what I mean. We need to vote all of them out, kick them out, either by protest. We just need to march against them, because these people have been sold out. We don't know the sort of negotiation. Do I expect a person like Uzodinma to have the interest of his common Southerner? When how he became the governor till this very day is still contested, that he came from 4th to 5th to 1st. That the judge who made him that governor, a Northern Fulani man, probably has a negotiation with him. That their kickbait is still pasted today, reportedly. So you see, we have a serious issue at hand. And these are the matters Obi must rise up to challenge. Because for me, that announcement, is Obi ready to deputize? Because I don't know, it's so quiet. Is it not hearing that the Atikus and co are now setting him up? I saw an interview where Atiku was asked, like, Oga, will you run? He said, and he was asked, what's going on? What is your plan? He said, I am running. and we are going to go for primaries. He was asked, shouldn't you step down for a certain person? He said, no, that ADC has to be democratic. So they have to go to the primaries and he will get it. That this time he is determined to kick out Tinubu. You see, these are the issues. While Obi remains in Labour Party, and while Labour Party, of course, eternally looks like a lion's trap or a death trap for Peter Obi's ambition, because we know that Labour Party today is still riddled with crisis. Abure is working for Tinubu. The other ones, so there are like 3 factions in Labour Party, right? It has been exposed that Labour Party are working clandestinely for the APC. So what is the pathway? I don't want to believe and accept that Obi's pathway to presidency is he must serve a northern presidency before he becomes a president. It is unfortunate. Let us listen to the words.
Things like governance, things that structure our government, that structure how Nigeria is governed, ought to be law, not gentlemen agreement. Ought to be law. In fact, it all ought to be law. As in law, brothers and sisters, law, the rule of law is how the world operates. I am shocked as a lawyer for over 17 years. I'm shocked that this kind of system of government is not even law in our country. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Look, what are we talking about here? How the government is run, how they exchange power from one place to the other is not law. Brothers, that's why we are here. That's why we are all arguing back and forth with each other. Because certain things are not in our provisions, in our law. Yeah? So all I am just saying here is simply this. Okonkwo had the audacity to say this because it is not even law. So in the next 4 years, somebody just say, this is the only person that can unseat this person. My brothers, if all these things are law, we will not be having nonsense like this. We will simply not be having nonsense like this. And we will not be giving ourselves headache. I think Nigerians just enjoy this. Perhaps we enjoy it. But there are many climes across the globe. I'm in one of them right now, that they simply go by the teeth of their law. Everything they do is in pursuant to their law, is in accordance with their law. They don't do anything with gentleman agreement, with our ideology, with friendship hugging. No! We can do friendship hugging personally in our private area. But when it comes to governing a society, everything has to go by the law, by the rules and regulation of their law. So all I am saying is this. We need to make important aspect of our governance of society law. Nothing should be by gentleman's agreement. Nothing should be by doctrine of necessity in government of society. And then we will not have issues like this to be arguing about back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. We will not have issues like this. So the truth is that while I do completely agree with what Grandmaster said, in that Nigerians are the government, and really Nigerians can vote for anybody regardless of where they come from. Issues about how governance is regulated ought to be by law. And that will solve a chunk of the problem. So I end by saying, Okonkwo's reckless statement wouldn't even exist. All of this so-called coalition wouldn't even exist. In fact, the likes of Tinubu might not even be president in 2023 if we simply just legislate this important aspect of how Nigeria is governed. Important aspect about zoning. Simple. When it's turn of the northeast, it is turn of the northeast. And every other region will sit still and let them do their thing. When it's turn of the southwest, it is turn of the southwest. Every other region sit still and let them do their thing. When it's turn of the southeast, it is turn of the southeast. Every other region sit still and let them do their thing. When it's turn of the northeast, it's turn of the northeast. Every other region sit still and let them do their thing. Can Nigeria just be properly organized? This is our problem. Gentlemen, ladies, okay? Goodness me. I'm in my office. In fact, I'm really getting sick of Nigeria. I have so much passion for this country, but we are so disorganized. And in fact, our generation ought to call our leaders. We need to call them. We need to call them and sit them down. This is nonsense. We are acting like we are in the 18th century. In the 21st century, everything goes by the rule of law. Everything goes by proper organization, indoctrination of the law. Everything goes by the doctrines of the law. If you don't have the law, you cannot organize a society. A society goes by the rule of law. I don't understand Nigeria. How can you be talking to me about gentleman's agreement in governing a society, and especially a society of diverse ethnic groups? How can we be thinking like this? In fact, one thing I've noticed on Twitter is that the truth is that most of us are actually like our politicians. We just don't have power. When we have power, you say that we are precisely like them. That just do things disorganized in a disorganized manner. I am sorry, but anything that has to do with governing a society should not be an idea, should not be a private agreement. It should be by law. What the law says. Okay? Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Mr. Peter, you go next. Then Eliwanda will go. Then Hausawa will go. So, Mr. P, you can have the mic.
Thank you, my brothers. Thank you, fellow Nigerians.
So, Peter, give me 10 seconds. So,
Okay, go ahead.
Abiodun, right? I remember when they asked IBB that question, and IBB said, do we want to practice democracy the way it is practiced, or do we want to define our own democracy? So my question to you now is there a way democracy should be practiced, or is it defined by the way people want to practice it?
Okay, let me quickly answer that question. Alpha, democracy is not a government system. Democracy is a system of governance, meaning that you can practice democracy in different type of government system. That is my answer to that. And you know what that basically means? That basically means that when you bring democracy into Nigeria, you have to practice it according to Nigeria structure. So the problem with Nigeria is structure problem. And law is what structures society, the laws of the society. So the Nigerian constitution needs to be put to the table and let the Nigerian constitution correctly define our structure. And then you put democracy on it. In fact, you stamp democracy on it like you're putting ingredients in a soup. And that's just what it really is. So the issue is that constitution. If Nigerian constitution is properly structured, you will just put democracy on that properly structured constitution. That's it. Okay? So I'm sorry, but like I said again and again, everything that has to do with governance in a country must be law. If it's not law, we will have problems. Please just go on about this without prejudice.
Ako, let me quickly chip in something. What Mr. Abiodun is saying uh, is reasonable in the sense that uh, we cannot just import a system of government and not look at our society. So we must first of all look at the dynamics of our society so that we will not bring in what does not fit our society and bring it into our society. Now, there's a good argument for what he's saying actually, in the sense that we have to look at how our society is. Our current reality will help us design the government that suits our reality, not just importing maybe something from the UK or something from the US without looking at the nitty-gritties and the intricacies of our society, right? So we cannot just say it is democracy, it is done like this in the US, bring it here. No. We'll look at the intricacies of our societies and use the intricacies of our society to apply to determine how we'll be governed in a way that is suitable, fair, and equitable for everybody that is involved. Mhm. I believe that's what he's trying to say. So, Mr. Peter, you can please go.
Thank you. Just to add up to what you're saying, you know, democracy is practiced in different ways. For those in the house, my name is Elvis Chinwosu. I'm the current president of P2B or North in Asia division of Obedient Movement. Democracy is practiced
I
in
like that.
different
The current
ways.
president of P or not. I like that. I like that. It's a good one.
And because I was elected with a consensus, you know. So it was so. But back to the thing, democracy is actually practiced in different ways. There are even people like Americans use electoral college. Even parliamentarism is not practiced in the same way.
As at that time, Bola Tinubu wanted to be president because he said it's his lifetime ambition. But he knew that if he, as a Southerner, tries to take out an incumbent Southerner, he will fail because nobody has succeeded from the same section of the president, incumbent, to take out an incumbent president. He went to the north and brought a man that he knew that all the northerners are supporting. And when he brought him, any combination from the south took out Jonathan. And he bided his own time. And he came in later to become the president. That is strategy. If my own strategy this time around is that I am going to support a northerner in 2027.
Really?
Yes. And it must be my condition to the northerners. It must be a northerner that the whole north will be willing to support.
Like an Atiku.
If the whole north is willing to support an Atiku, why not?
Or a Tambuwal.
If the whole north is willing to support, why not?
Or an Erufai.
Good. The person must be qualified, must have experience, and if he has experience in the presidency, it's an added advantage. And when we put up anything from the south, that will push him through.
Fulanis don't own Nigeria.
Ẹ̀yin Fúlàní láì kọ́ lórí orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà.
I don't have a Fulani root.
Láíláí mi ò fẹ́ mọ bí Fúlàní náà.
I'm a born and bred Nigerian.
A bí mi lórílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà, ọmọ Nàìjíríà sì ni mo jẹ́.
I don't have a visa to be here.
Nítorí náà n ò gbàwé ìrìnnà láti wá sílẹ̀.
Who called you owners of the land?
Ta lẹni náà tó pè ní lẹ́ni tó lórílẹ̀-èdè tá a wà nínú rẹ̀. Ẹ̀bù pátápátá ni. Ẹ̀bù pátápátá ni. Ẹ̀bù pátápátá ni.
This is not Fulani Republic of Nigeria.
Ibi ò kì í ṣe bí
It's Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Fúlàní ti Nàìjíríà lákòrílẹ̀-èdè.
Ẹ kó lọ lu yín. Pákí ọlọ́dẹ jango. Palo Seko Prade Salaga. What?
Ó ti a rí.
You enter the church.
Ẹ wálẹ̀ wọnú ilé ìjọsìn Ọlọ́run.
You kill 50
Ẹ
people.
ti sọ pé pàádọ́ta ènìyàn.
And you think you'll be free?
Ẹ sì wálé.